I said I probably wasn't gonna do this again, but, here we are. So a couple weeks ago, you may remember that I did a video where I was looking at creations that were attempting to replicate this animated intro that I have at the beginning of all of my videos. And we had some that did a pretty good job, but not a single one was absolutely perfect. But in my mind, they were close enough, and I thought that I was just gonna end it there. But as you can see, the viewers demanded more, so I checked the workshop once again, and since that episode, there's a lot of hefty claims that people have finally made the perfect intro. Now, I'm gonna give a fair warning. The scrutiny in this episode is gonna be of a much higher caliber because we're looking for perfection this time. So any little detail that is off is going to be called out. I'll try to be nice about it, but I'm also gonna try to be honest about it. I mean, if you took the time after that video to actually build one of these things, then I feel like you've accepted that. You've accepted that scrutiny and criticism was going to be part of the deal. So what I'm saying is, I just hope you're emotionally prepared for this. So we've got 9 attempts since that episode, and I have not actually spawned any of these in yet. Hopefully they're not using mods that I don't have. But as you can see, some of these look much more complex in their nature than what we've seen so far, which makes sense because the expectation now is actual perfection. So I don't know where to start because I don't know which one of these is actually the best. We're just gonna look at them. I'm gonna start at the bottom and work my way up because this one starts with a fairly good ScrapMan intro, so really selling yourself here. And then the last one up here is perfect ScrapMan intro. So we're gonna work our way from fairly good to perfect. I have no idea what's coming in between there. So this is by Tanash Potter. Just sit on the red block, press the switch, enjoy. Read this description twice. Just sit on the red block, press the switch, and enjoy. Watch me still manage to do it wrong. Sometimes when I'm reading things for the camera, I'm actually not listening to myself read it. I'm just making sure that I read it in a charismatic way. And then the message just gets completely lost on me and I forget entirely what I read. All right, sit on the red block. Oh yeah, I remember that part. Wait, what? Am I supposed to look? Which way am I supposed to look? The instructions unclear. Sit on the red block, press the switch, and enjoy. I'm assuming I gotta face this way, right? Well, my character's facing this way, so that's why I'm confused. I hope you understand that that's confusing. All right, here we go. Let's see how this one works. We're gonna press the button. 3, 2, 1, intro. Okay. Good. Good. Okay. Oh! That was decent. Animation-wise, it was decent. Let me talk about what it did right first. Now, normally what people will give a compliment sandwich, but it's gonna be more like a compliment pizza. Assuming that in a sandwich, bread is compliment, and then what comes in between the bread is the criticism. This is gonna be more like a compliment pizza, where the compliment is still the bread, but then you just top it with the criticism. Okay, so what it does right, the way that the gear comes out, the way that the S goes in, the M comes in from the side, the gear spins, then they go up, and then the gear comes towards us. That's all good, but there's a couple of things in that are not happening correctly, and we're gonna see if other things are gonna get that correct. So one thing that does not happen correctly, well, ignore all this. This is not part of it. When the S comes down and then the M comes down, the M should shift the S over a little bit because the S should be centered and then the M should shift it over. So now the S and the M are both centered. And then another thing that this got wrong, when the letters shear upwards, that should actually cause the gear to start spinning more. And then the gear should retract from the camera before extending at the camera. And I think those are the more difficult details to really notice and replicate. So I think this lives up to its name though. It was honest. It is a fairly good ScrapMan intro, but my viewers, they've asked for perfection. We're gonna see if we're gonna get there. All right, here we go. This is by The Very Fast Runner, ScrapMan's intro with background, which is interesting. So apparently he used the S, M, and gear from the Golden Spaces remake of ScrapMan's intro. So this is actually kind of a collaborative build, but it's more about the animation than the actual the aesthetics of the build itself. Oh, this is interesting. This is interesting. This person has a detail here that nobody else with the animations has managed to do yet. I already see, just because the way that this S is shaped, He's actually gonna have it layered like it is in my logo. And he even did build like my background texture and everything. Ooh, this already has potential for perfection. I'm gonna weld this just because there's a lot of stuff happening here. All right, I'm gonna press the button. We're gonna see if it gets the details right. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, action. Oh, oh. Oh, it was so close. This was one of the best ones so far. The detail that I got that nothing else, that very few others have gotten, is the S comes in nice and centered. The N comes in and pushes the S out of the way. But not only that, but the S is actually layered around the M, which that I think is the first time that this happened with an animated one. There was someone who did that with a static intro though, previously. Also, it goes all the way and surrounds the camera too, and it's see-through, other than, you know, the attachment point, which is pretty much inevitable that you gotta have it in your face, unfortunately. But there is a detail, and I called this detail out on the last one. There is a detail that is missing from this one. And that detail is, can you guess it? That's good, that's good, that's good, that's good. There. When the letters move, that should also coincide with the gear starting to spin. Another thing that this one got that nothing else got before that I remember is this one also did come away from the camera before going towards the camera, but it should be already spinning at that point. This one, it went away from the camera before it started spinning. So that is the only little detail that this one missed. Best one so far, definitely. And also we have the background. Wait, what? Oh, interesting. I didn't realize that this door has an opening. Oh, that is an interesting detail. That is an interesting wow. That is really, really good. I just realized there is a detail in this that I never even expected people to pay attention to, because to me, it's not tech. That was an accident. I just detached the entire, I just detached the entire gear. I have a heavy mouse finger sometimes. I need to respawn this back in. But the way that my intro transitions into the scene is first, the middle of the gear, that circle becomes transparent to reveal the scene in the video, and then as the gear expands towards the camera, that circle then expands to include the entire scene. And he included that there. I have to show that one more time. So pay close attention to this. Watch the background of the gear. See, that opens up, and then as the gear comes towards us, the rest of it opens up with the gear to reveal the scene. I am very impressed that that was included. I think this is now the current front runner for most attention to detail now. So good job, the very fast runner. All right, up next, best ScrapMan intro ever, I think, by Connor7316. Go in first person mode, make sure to use the radios, because radios are not very important ever. They're not, no, not in Scrap Mechanic. But this is a big title to live up to. Use the oh no, the door is broken. Hold on. There we go. Why? No, I'm not turning the radios on. We don't use radios on this channel. All right, let's see here. Is this gonna be the best ScrapMan intro? You guys know better now what details I'm actually looking for. Here we go. Okay, there's that detail. Oh, okay. Interesting. It got some details right, but this one got some significant ones wrong. The major one is the S appears to come down from the top a lot more than it should, but I can see technically it is moving towards it. You can see there that a piston does move down, but for some reason, the way that this visual looks, it looks like it's just coming down from the top. The M does move the S off to the side, and the S is layered correctly. However, the gear shouldn't stop before it gets to the camera. That's another detail that this one did miss. The background is also pretty cool. Really good on the background too. And the gear is actually pretty cool looking as well. I like the gear a lot. But once again, I said I was gonna look at every little detail, and there's yet to be an actual perfect one. And I don't know if we're gonna get it in this episode. This is what's really kind of like it makes me nervous. I'm like, is somebody really gonna get it? Every single detail? It is really interesting, though, to see what details people miss and what details people pick up, because that one got a couple details that almost nobody got last time. All right, I don't know why people want to use this picture. It's it doesn't win me over. I don't like this picture. It doesn't give a good impression to me. If that's what you're trying to do, that's not succeeding when you use this picture, okay? All right, well, here we go. Ooh, this is interesting. This one is also taking into account the way that the S layers in. This is really, a lot more people are using that detail than I expected. All right, there's an invisible seat here. We got to get into the invisible seat. Okay, here we go. 3, 2, 1, action. Okay. Yes. Yes. Yo, a little bit. Why? Stop it. Don't look at me like that. Is that what it feels like whenever you guys open up a video? All right. The letters were good. The letters, I think, were pretty much all good. It's the gear movement itself that is a little bit suspect. And to be honest, the more of these I watch, the more I question whether I even remember what my own intro actually does. I keep having to check and remind myself in between clips. All right, so the gear is supposed to roll out. Yep. Then the letters come in. And then it's supposed to spin the other way fast, and then it's supposed to spin again as it comes towards the camera, but this one seems to like have a weird stopping point, and then it comes towards the camera not spinning anymore. And I also, did it actually go back before it came forward? I have to check that real quick. It does. It does go back before it comes forward. So I think the really only issue with this one, at least that I'm picking up on here, is just it doesn't spin at the right timing with the letters. The letter animations. So that one was also pretty close, and the fact that it opens up to my face, I'm not giving any bonus points for that. No, I'm not gonna give any bonus points to anyone using this picture. But also clever on using invisible blocks for this one. Another really strong contender here. That one was by Ramen Noodle God. I think I actually forgot to say that at first. All right, up next by Ahogan543, ScrapMan's intro. Took me 3 hours to construct this, and apparently this was made the same day as my last intro video. So I don't know if this was actually made in response to that, or it was already in progress. But let's see how well it does. Oh, that's interesting. Why is the gear down there? Put strict follow camera on? Don't ask why, just do it. Why? Okay, here goes nothing. Okay. 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 Oh. What? That's one interpretation. I will give this one credit for uniqueness. It definitely stands out a little bit more in some areas than the others. It took some creative liberties with how my intro works. This one uses 2 gears. That's a first. I think it's pretty obvious how this one differs from my actual intro on this one. I will give you creativity points though. Creativity points. Accuracy points, not a whole lot of accuracy points, but you definitely get a lot of the creativity points. The follow camera, strict follow cam is explained now. I understand. Question answered. All right, now we got one by Janik Z11. Almost perfect. Oh, wow. We went from a fairly good, and now we're going to almost perfect, and hopefully working our way to actual just plain perfect. Although we did already see the best one ever. So it's going to be kind of hard to compete with the best ever when it comes to titling here. So this one says, with all of this criticism in mind, I built this to make an even better intro that can compete with the others. All right, so he claims to keep all the criticism in mind. So let's see how well do these people pay attention. Oh, this one definitely takes the S detail into account with the different layers. Okay, this is going to be interesting to see. All right, here we go. And button. What? Oh, the interesting colors. Oh no, it looks brown, but this is actually black. Okay. Okay, there's just one D every single time. Oh, it's my face again. I didn't know my face was in this one. I didn't know that it's not. All right, can we undo, please? This is interesting. There are a couple of things that I have to note, and so far there's this one particular detail that I don't think anybody's gotten it right yet. So the gear comes out, yes. S comes in from behind, and it does get pushed over, but the timing's a little bit weird. The letters move up, and the gear doesn't spin in response to the letters moving up, and that's a detail that everyone keeps missing. But the gear does come out before going at the camera, so we do got that. And I don't usually intro directly to my face. My face is usually off in the corner. I appreciate the attempt at flattery, but I do not find my own face flattering. All right, another noble attempt, but we are still merely approaching perfection. We have not achieved it yet. Okay, here we go. Another one that uses my face. The ultimate ScrapMan intro, it perfect, unlike the grammar and the title. This is by Deodorant. Well, at least it's probably not gonna smell bad. Oh, apparently he made music too. Poor music. Okay, perfect intro, but poor music. Do not weld to the ground. Also, field of view 90. I want to hear. Oh, is this gonna be my intro music? Is this gonna be like an actual good, a good rendition of my intro music? So apparently number 2 is. It was okay. It was okay. The notes were pretty much right. The timing was a little bit off. All right, I am noticing that the S is on 2 different layers. It's a little bit of a strange looking S. The font isn't quite, the font is definitely not quite the same as my font, but I will overlook aesthetic designs just because it's a blocky game. I can accept that you're not going to be able to replicate things like that exactly. However, the gear is a really good gear. By the way, after this episode, I promise this is the last episode. So don't make any more of these, okay? I'm telling you right now, no more intros. Even if it's perfect, this is the last one. I can't keep making this video over and over again. I'm just hoping that this follow-up video will hopefully satisfy the viewers that really wanted to see these final attempts here. All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, here it comes out. Looking good so far. S comes in, good. It's centered, and then it gets pushed off. That was good. I mean, a little bit janky, but I'll blame scrap mechanic physics for that. And once again, oh, this one is missing. It didn't come out before going in, I don't think. Oh, there's my face. There's my face again. But it didn't start spinning until after the letters were already separated from it. All right, here it is again. This is interesting that this seems to be like the detail that gets away from everybody. And maybe it's just because I did I specifically mention it last time? So yeah, the letters go away. The gear should start spinning as those letters go away. The reason why I'm saying that detail in particular is because that was part of my thought process when I animated the intro in the first place, was these letters shearing was actually kind of like pulling the sides of the gear to cause it to spin. Like that was my thought process there. So the fact that the gear isn't responding to the shearing of the letters is a key detail that most people seem to be missing. All right, another valiant effort though, but perfection still evades us. Oh boy, we only got 2 more left. I'm getting nervous. Oh, this one says absolutely perfect. Absolutely perfect, and then just perfect. So we'll see. We'll see. We'll see. That's all. We'll see. This creation is probably better than all of the intro attempts on ScrapMan's last video. Well, if it's perfect, then it's a given. It will be better. So interesting discrepancy there. You say it's absolutely perfect, but you only say it's probably better than all of the imperfect ones. All right, Mr. GP2110244, if that even is your real name. Let's put this thing under the magnifying glass. All right, here we go. Oh, hello, S. You're looking a little bit shaky. Get it? Because it starts with the letter S. Okay. Is this like the video that like technically never starts because it's just the intro over and over again? In 3, 2, 1, go. Oh boy, that's an interesting shaped gear. Okay. Interesting. Oh! It got one of the details right that nothing else was getting right. But it did get some details wrong. This is a compliment pizza. I gave you your compliment. Now it's time for the criticism toppings. All right, so like I said, what this thing has gotten right is the gear actually responded to the shearing of the letters. But what this thing is missing, if I remember correctly, the S and the M didn't overlap. So there's that issue. And I don't remember what else. So our gear comes out, that's right. Yeah, the S doesn't come centered at first. It does move it off to the side though. And also it doesn't appear to move back before it goes forward. So there's that as well. That could just be like, it could just be too subtle for me to have noticed it, but it wasn't noticeable to me. So I'm going to apply that to the criticism toppings. So was it absolute perfection? Not by itself, but if we took what this one did right and applied it to what the other ones did right, we could have a combined absolute perfection of an intro. Also, the gear design. It's funny that there's just a blatant square in the middle of what's supposed to be a circle. But don't worry, I understand. I hate making circles in scrap mechanics, so I can't blame you for that. Unless you were going for absolute perfection, in which case just a little bit of blame. Okay, and here we are. This is the final one, the last chance at perfection. And I mean last chance because this is the last one of these videos, okay? There's no description on this one. That's confidence. That's confidence right there. He doesn't think I need to know anything about it. It's a perfect intro, man. Just get in and you'll know what to do. You know perfection when you see it. Okay. Oh, this is the elevator. I did not think this was going to be an elevator. I thought we were looking at a door. Is the S the S is not layered, so that's a detail already that is missing that other ones did have, but I did specifically say that wasn't a key detail that I was worried about. For me, it's as long as they're overlapping, not necessarily that they're interwoven. My logo is made in 2 dimensions, not 3, which is why I'm willing to forgive that specific detail. All right, but you guys know what other details I'm looking at, so let's see if this one matches up. Perfect intro. Let's see it. All right. Okay. Okay, there is overlapping. Yeah. It's not perfect. I do like the fact that the gear oh, wait a minute. Oh, this is actually really interesting. We got the compliment of the pizza right here. This is rotating in a back behind there, which is really cool. Excuse me. S, can somebody get this S out of the way, please? Sir, can you please send yourself somewhere else? All right, so what I was going to say is one of the things that this thing does that is different than pretty much everything else is this still rotates from the center, but the gear itself isn't attached at the center. It's attached behind this wall. Here, we can just, open it up back here. So it's actually rotating from up here behind the wall, and then the pistons are going through the wall to it. And that enables, this is the first time I think, unless I'm misremembering, forgive me if I misremember certain details from other ones that I've only seen like once or twice. But I think this is the first one where the gear actually goes back behind the seat. All of the other ones approach the seat so the gear gets out of your field of view, but it's still like in front of you technically. But this is the first one that has an actual empty center point that can go through and behind the seat, which is pretty amazing. But what it did miss is the rotation animation there is a little bit off, and it only rotates once more after the letters come onto it. In order to be perfect, it would have to have rotated a little bit more coming out as if it was actually rolling, and then it rotates faster back the other way, and then the sound you hear when that happens, I'm going to address this right now because this is something I see comments on all the time. People think, is ScrapMan sniffing in the intro? No, that is the sound of an air drill. Here, I'll play the intro without my music so you can hear the actual sound effects. That is the sound of an air drill, and that is matching up with the sound of the gear just spinning really, really fast all of a sudden. Yep, so that air drill sound happens, the gear spins fast and stops, and then the letters shear and it spins slowly as it comes out and back towards the camera. Yeah, so with this one, it's also missing the detail of the gear moving away from the camera before heading towards it. But the fact that this one actually goes, the seat goes into the gear, that was a new detail that I appreciate. So collectively, I think every detail that I was looking for was accounted for. But individually, not a single creation was able to get every single one of them. But as far as which one I think is the front runner, in my opinion, I think it's this one right here. The way that the letters overlap and the way that the actual background details were paid attention to, it was actually like really, really creative and innovative, and it took into account things that I wasn't even taking into account. So yeah, I gotta give a lot of props to the very fast runner for being my personal favorite in this episode. I'm curious if you have a difference of opinion. Which one of them do you think was the best? And I want to thank everyone who participated in this, even though I didn't officially say that this was ever really happening. A lot of people just kind of took the initiative and decided to just, take the chance at seeing if they can make something that would make it into the video. So congratulations if you did make it into the video. Just know that obviously my criticisms are just just being way unnecessarily critical. I don't actually dislike any of these. I like them all. All of them were really, really fun to watch and really, really interesting to see what kind of decisions everybody made. So that is where I'm going to close the book on this intro saga thing. Now, I don't know if there's another type of thing we can do with this whole concept. If you have any ideas for that, let me know down in the comments below. Maybe there's just like other things that don't have anything to do with my channel, and we can see who can make the most detailed replica of some type of moving animation or something. I don't know. Let me know if you guys have any ideas down in the comments below. Because as you can probably tell from the content on the channel, a lot of times the content is inspired by what I see in the comments. So it's always worth it if you have ideas to just put them down there. I can't do every idea that I see, but if I see one that seems like it'll actually be really good for YouTube, then I'm always open to it. If you did miss the previous one, then you can go ahead and check that out on the end screen right here. Hope this video has earned your subscription. Anyway, this has been ScrapMan, and I'll see you next time. Bye.
Wow.